I'm Steve Cox. They say that no man has ever played the game of baseball. For each time he steps on the field, he becomes once again a boy. Baseball, America's pastime, a game that for so many enters their heart, enters their soul during their childhood, and remains a central part of the fabric of their being throughout their lifetime. For so many, the first sport we're introduced to, the first sport we fall in love with, a game so tied to our country's history, pure Americana. A game whose beginning each year tells us spring is here and summer isn't far away. A game whose ending lets us know winter will soon be upon us. Played on fields like this, in small towns throughout our nation for so many years. The local team, the focal point and pride of so many communities. Small town heroes leaving the fields and coal mines, don the uniform of their hometown team, giving all for a win in front of the whole town. Our area, our county, much the same. From Athens to Stewart, New Marshfield to Orbiston, Gloucester to Albany, Nelsonville to Redtown, each little field in each little community having its own stories to tell. Stories of miraculous victories, stories of amazing, bigger-than-life performers whose names we can forever recall. Stories of legendary teams, of league titles, of state championships. This is the story of one of those teams. A team of boys from all ends of the county who came together during one magical summer to bring home a world title. Baker, Stricklin, Hartman, Holbert, Schaller, Corrigan, Hawk, Scurlock, Waddell, Andrews, Grinstead, Klein, Miller, and DeCaminata, along with coaches Scurlock and Gibson. This is the story of the 1987 Senior League World Series champions, the Athens County All-Stars.
I'm Stacy DeCaminata. In 1984, we were each 30 and 32 years old, so you're young to be dealing with something like this. And we had 3 children. Our oldest was Scott. Scott was 11 at the time. And we had quite a competitive group of ball players in the Athens area that we recognized. They played city rec, is what it was called then, baseball down at the West State Street Fields. And they just had a level of, we saw competition that they needed to do something different. There was a little bit of conflict, I think, with some community people and the way the city rec program was ran. But you know, when you're running something, you do the best you can. So this small group of people that had a lot of these talented kids thought, okay, let's try this. So then it began. My mother, Shirley Slater, will have a lot more of that story. She was the first president. She did a lot of the paperwork. She was a professor at Ohio University, and of course very into her grandchildren.
They decided we really need to have officers, and nobody wanted to be, of course, in charge. And I finally agreed. I said, well, I'll be acting president. And I remember saying to them, you know, I don't know very much about baseball, but I do know about how to organize things. And so, of course, what happened is I learned a whole lot about baseball, and because we had to learn an awful lot to get it started. So, of course, I remember lots of meetings, met down at the old gas company down there, and a very small group, and then more people got interested, and we finally sort of officially decided we'd have officers. And so then once we got started, decided, well, then of course we didn't know exactly what to do or how to do it. So I contacted Williamsport and actually talked to Scott Lowry, who was over our region, district area, whatever you want to call it. Talked to him on the phone, and he explained a lot of different things. And I can't remember whether they sent us a lot of paperwork first or whether he came to visit us. But he came to my house and, you know, talked and went over everything. And when we were talking about how to organize it was very interesting, because I don't know how many rural teams they had and how they were set up, because it seemed like most of the teams we played were larger teams, cities, that type of thing. And so when I said, well, we're county, you know, we would like to be the county, but we would like to be our teams would be from schools, the local schools. And that, I remember when we were talking, and he said, well, I'm pretty sure he told me that he said that they either hadn't done it before or they weren't sure, but he said, what we can do, he said, we can set it up so that it's a county organization and your teams can each represent a school. And so that's, of course, what we did, and that benefited us in lots of different ways, because I think people really liked the idea that it was their hometown school team. And that worked very well for the setup and how we got going, and everything worked fine until we started winning. And after we got to the point where we were winning some of the tournaments and things, they started questioning us. How are you set up? Why are you set up that way? And the higher we went, the more they said, well, you know, you can't do that. You can't have a county organization with that. I said, well, it was set up by, you know, Scott Lowry from headquarters, and we had an official charter. We went through it, and we were very careful from day one to follow the rules and to do exactly what they told us. Thankfully, even though we were a small group, we had people who were very well organized and willing to do the forms, the papers, the phone calls. And so when we first started, I don't think any of us had any idea that, you know, how far these kids were going to go, you know, in just a very few years. And that was one of the reasons that I always emphasized to everyone, as long as I'm in charge, we'll follow the rules. And part of it was because I didn't know that much about baseball, and I didn't know that much about, so we got the books out, we read the items, and you know, we had great coaches, and they were great mentors to the kids, and we had great support in the communities. And people, you know, volunteered and helped and donated and come forward, and I mean, it just was a very grassroots type of thing. And the local businesses were very supportive and everything. So I just remember when we were starting out, you know, again, it was kind of like few people, but that grew. And of course, more people got involved and you know, that type of thing. And you know, of course, the first year we went all the way to the state tournaments and had to, you know, it was almost like, here's these little hick people from the country coming up here, you know, in borrowed uniforms, and it was kind of like, oh, well, you know, we'll let you play with us, you know, type of thing.
My memories was we all had teams in the area from each of the districts. We had to put that group together for a practice, many practices. We had kids from Trimble, Federal Hockey, the Athens City School District, Nelsonville, York, and Alexander. So we had it was actually an Athens County team. And putting that thing together at the end of the season, where everybody fought each other like crazy over the normal part of the season, now all of a sudden you have to form a team that is cohesive and can play together. And they were so easy to do that with. They really loved to play. And
so the thing that probably stands out the most to me is just the group of guys in general. I mean, rarely ever, and I played on, you know, tons of sports teams, do you just have a group of guys that just kind of got along so well. And, you know, that was kind of the magic in the whole thing was, I mean, literally we had people from all over the county and guys that you don't play with all the time, and you literally took the best players from each of the county teams and put them all together and somehow made that gel, and my gosh, it did. So, I mean, that was the biggest memory to me, was just the group of guys and how well we got along.
When we traveled in a caravan, you know, we had no cell phones. You know, you didn't have any connection like that. We had a caravan, and we would all pretty much stay close together. And we had signs that you would hold up in the side of your window. If you were at the lead of the pack, someone might come up and say bathroom, or the next sign might say food, or whatever. And now people nowadays wouldn't believe that. You know, it's like, what? You know, you did what?
Well, there's no communication. You know, I guess maybe you have walkie-talkies back then, but there certainly wasn't cell phone. Yeah.
And not all parents could go, you know, understandable. So different ones of us that could, you know, you took on whoever needed, you know, okay, we'll take these two, or the van took two, or you were you know, it worked. We made it work. The kids wanted to play, the parents were okay with it. Maybe they couldn't go to every game.
You know, the whole experience has really shaped how I think about business, how I think about life. And it really is, you know, when you've worked really hard and accomplished something really, you know, lasting and important, it sort of, I don't know, it sort of changes your mind, right? In a really good way, in that, like, if I really stick to this and work at it, I can get the results that I want. And to me, that's what I've always seen the benefit of sports. In general, that's really where it's at. You know, it's showing improvement and working and setting goals and that kind of thing. So.
You had to have your regular season. You had to follow the rules. You had to, and they all had fun. You had your hometown teams, which you don't have anymore. You had, you know, that was super. You know, everybody could go to baseball practice right over here at this field if you lived on the plains. So the hometown team was also part of the original thoughts, was to get that. So anyway, that would have been what, 84, and then 85 they did well. 86, 87 our 13-year-olds, because you have your back up. We added senior league. We started out with Little League, then you had to have a charter for Little League, so you had to ask for a charter for senior league. Senior league started with the 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. And so you had to apply for this to get it. You had the same thing. You had your teams for the senior league, same way as you did your little league. Of course, little league's more popular because that's what people see on TV. So anyway, so as these kids that started out were getting older, we had to do something. What are we going to do with them? You know, so we get the charter, we do the senior league.
Little League baseball was here, but really, you know, there were tournaments here and there, and just the, you know, the rec Little League, which there was nothing wrong with, but we wanted to be more competitive, and so they had the vision to pull together from scratch this county Little League and form the Little League, you know, under the Little League umbrella, so to speak. And you know, I mean, that evolved quickly, and I can't imagine the amount of time that they had in that, but that was the start of the whole thing. And you know, right away we had success with that. You know, it was either the first or second year we won a state championship, and that was the first year that the league was even around. So, I mean, without their foresight and to give us the opportunity to even pull all this together and play together, it never would have happened. So Shirley and that whole group, Tom and, you know, my parents and the DeCaminatas, and I mean, there's tons of others that I'm not even mentioning that pulled all that together. Was, you know, that's where it all started.
Don Skurlock and I, we had a little thing about this ball field. We never left until it was dark. No matter what time practice started, we were still here when it was dark, and our wives thought we were nuts. And probably were a little bit nuts, but it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of great memories from those times, and what a great group of kids. And we had them from all over the county, which was the big deal. We had them from each of the 5 schools in the county, and they just melded together and just did a fantastic job. Well, Don was unbelievable. He was here every day, took part in everything, really worked hard with the pitchers, and a great person to be able to bounce stuff off from, because it was hard for me to believe, but I didn't know everything. And so it was really nice that he was able to be there. He convinced me that my son would be a better third baseman than he was a second baseman, and that I was a fool for not playing him there. And I found out that I was a fool for not playing him there. So
I'm Nate Schaller. I played on the Plains team. Oddly enough, when I was younger, I was the first baseman, and then ended up playing center field on the All-Star team.
Scott DeCaminata from the Plains also. I was a shortstop and pitcher, and me and Nate basically grew up together. We were neighbors. So the way the season kind of worked was, it was a county league team kind of divided up with each individual, like, township, I would say. Like, we had Alexander, obviously the Plains, Chansey, and we had a season that I think consisted of about 15 to 20 games. From those teams, we went through an all-star tryout process that team became, like, I would say, a travel team where we competed with other teams within the county district, which we moved on to states, regionals, and obviously from that we went to a few World Series. So that's kind of, it was a small community, but at that time we were lucky enough to have, I think, a good batch of athletes and a good group of friends. We not only played baseball together, but we played other sports together, and we knew each other through, you know, playing basketball and just, you know, being around each other. So that's kind of how it works from there.
Number 34, DeCaminato. It's the first one. Touchdown, baby.
The first thing that I would say that I would want mentioned is really just the quality of baseball that was taught by all the folks that came around us. And so from the coaches that were teaching and coaching, in our individual Little League teams to certainly then Don Skurlock and Fred Gibson. I certainly remember my father teaching me a ton of stuff about the game. I remember even Larry Corrigan, back to everybody coming together. Larry Corrigan, when I realizing that I had not hit a lot of curveballs before, stood up on the mound and threw me curveball after curveball. I remember certainly we were down and out, and things kind of looked kind of bad towards the end there, and I believe we had a nice rain shower, and the rain came and stopped things, and whatever that was, we cleared our heads or loosened up a little bit, and just started going after it. And certainly one of my personal favorites is I got called in to pinch hit in that game that was there, and ended up drawing a walk and getting on base. Apparently Nate Schaller was faster than I was, so he got called to pinch run, and that ended up being the game-winning run to put us into the final. So as much as anything, just the team effort there, and back to those coaches who knew how to manufacture runs, knew how to play the game, and knew how to help us win.
I'll tell you, Pat, Ohio's an absolute back right here with a 4-0 lead. They've got to stay on, got to come with more hits, more runs, because in baseball, no lead is ever safe. We've seen some tremendous comebacks in this tournament, Mark, and it's going to be important for Corey Corrigan not to let them get out from under this thing right here. 1 out in the inning. Runners on first and second. Corrigan will be followed by the Caminada. Central sent 6 men to the plate already in the inning. They've come up with 3 runs.
My name's Jeff Holbert. I played second base and batted leadoff for the World Series team. I guess my fondest memory, as looking back, would obviously be the welcome home. Was pretty incredible. Overwhelming, I would say. Lasted way into the night. Obviously the trip through Athens, getting off the plane. Then I was lucky enough when I returned to Gloucester that they welcomed me through Gloucester with the fire truck and things like that. So that was a great memory. As far as the team, we talked about, is the fighting back. We had a real good spirit as a group, sort of a no quit, and just kept fighting for each other. And no matter what the odds, we seemed to get through it that year. So those are probably the 2 things: the closeness of the group.
You know, just going all the way down to Florida, playing in a world championship where you've got Taipei and the Virgin Islands and a team from Tampa that had a couple major leaguers on that team, and just a bunch of country boys from Athens County getting together and just bonding as a team, and finding a way to win. I don't think we were the best team there. Certainly weren't the most talented team there, but we found ways to win, and we just competed. We played well together. Coach Gibson and Coach Skurlock did a really good job with our team, and we just had a really good kind of bond together as a team, and we just kind of played with a chip on our shoulder and found a way to win. It was a lot of fun.
Even when we were 12 years old, it seemed like everybody it was probably one of the most mature group of 12-year-olds that I had seen or been around. I played on several teams, and I mean, especially for the age that we were, and it was just by chance. It was a really neat thing. We had great coaches all the way through. It was just, the parents did a lot. I mean, they went from one to the other. Once we, it was not one of those things where you win one game and you go home and you wait for a little bit. You win a game and then you win another one. And if you move on, then you're going straight from that place to the next place. So there's a time when we were on the road for, I think, a month at a time, And most 12-year-olds love McDonald's. It got to the point where we did not like McDonald's. The thought or sound of McDonald's was just not a good thing. You know, I mean, we even had parents offering to buy, and we were like, no, we'll take anything other than McDonald's.
We'll take the hotel food.
So, yeah.
Of keeping him in the ball game, the first inning he did face 5 hitters. He got out of the inning without a run. It's going to be important for Scott DeCaminata to come out, throw strikes, not give up space on balls. His defense behind him, he's got to play good, solid defense. And if they're going to come back and get in this ball game, you've got to make USA South do it themselves and not give them anything. Another thing in baseball, Pat, too, also is that the team scores early, but that's why here you play 7 innings instead of only 2.
I was just telling my daughter the other day, she was talking about, she had volleyball practice, and she said, we just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I said, I can remember a practice where all we did, the whole practice, was hit balls to the first baseman and have the pitcher come over and cover. I said, I remember doing that, and just over and over and over the whole practice. But then after that, when a ball got hit to me, I knew what to do.
TJ Root is ready. That's going to bring on Corey Corrigan. Corrigan walks in the first, was forced at second. In the first game, Corrigan was the pitcher of record. He gets the win in the ball game. He was 0 for 2 at the plate and scored a run. His run back in the 5th, and USA Central got 2 to tie the score.
Hi, my name's Jeff Grinstead. I'm from Albany, Ohio. I played here at Alexander. Graduated in '89. Got a lot of great memories of the 1987 World Series team. Most of my favorite memories are just being with the guys and spending the summer with them, and how much fun it was, because we all loved baseball, obviously, and traveling, and we spent probably close to a month away from home, and just a great time. And my position, I was kind of a utility infielder. I could play about any of the infield positions, and I pitched some. It was a great time back then, and one of my biggest memories was how it felt whenever I got back to school. We were back in school the next day when I got back. So basically, it just was people coming up to me and talking to us about it, and just remembering how much I missed being around those guys, because we'd been together pretty much a month. And when I got back to the school, it was tough for about a week, because it just didn't seem right. We were so out of whack being in school and you know, getting ready, trying to get back into the fall sports, which I'd missed 3 weeks of practice of, you know, because we were gone. But there's a lot of memories. I mean, it's been a long time ago, so some of the smaller ones have probably left me. But you know, I enjoyed the bus rides after the games. I enjoyed the families that we got to stay with when we were at the state and at the regional tournament, and that was a lot of fun. We got to meet a lot of new people and kind of learn how they did things in their area. And
the players stayed in foster homes, and that was a little questionable back in the day. You're thinking, not like it would be nowadays. People probably would really flip out about it now, but it was awesome.
But each family usually took 2 players, you know, so they'd be buddied up and everything, and wherever you went, because they put their name in, like, you know,
and they had to be
sponsor
approved
the kids.
by
you know,
their,
they had to be approved and everything. But we've got such good memories of that, and they always bragged on the kids how good they were. Never had a minute's problem as far as.
And they wanted them back. They'd say, okay, did you win the state? Have you won this? You know, as we were coming up through the ranks the next summers, you know, they were hoping, they were wanting this Athens County League to be there. But those parents were approved by their league, you know, to be foster parents. They were involved in their league. They usually had children of their own.
And they would come to the games.
Yep. Oh,
you know, and
big time.
It was just, it was neat.
They were so we had 1 year, Fred probably tell you, 1 year we didn't have hotel rooms or something. We got there early, and these foster parents said, we'll take them early.
it was a funny story about that the one team it was so good, and I think they had them pretty well projected to win the whole thing, that even our plane tickets were in their names. So maybe some other guys have already talked about that, but yeah, my plane ticket that I've still got doesn't even have my name on it, and I know there's no way you could get away with that these days. So, but I mean, we had a lot of fun on the bus trips, like I said, when we were down in Florida, going to Disney, spending time in the pool, just hanging out, just guys being guys and having a lot of fun, and that was something I'll never forget. You know, as for a lot of things that happened in the games and situations, I can't really remember all of those, but I do remember some of those good times. So
they fly you to the World Series, the team. So when they knew their team was going to win. This was in Illinois?
Peru, Illinois, yeah.
They were not even going. We were good, but we weren't going to win. You know, this was them. You know, and we had a bad weather day. It rained. They could have just said, you know, it was over. Our team's going, because they were up a little bit on us. We had to beat them twice. And we're thinking, but you don't end a regional tournament by rain. You can't do that. That's not right. And so anyway, it poured, didn't it? We're all in this hotel thinking, okay. And then it quit. And they got the fields ready. And we played. And we beat them twice. And our kids flew to Florida on tickets with that team's name. Now, would you do that today?
They would still be at the airport today. I mean, it just, you know.
Someone said if we had one name that matched, and I think there was a Hartman on their team and a Hartman on our team. Nobody else had any, it wouldn't have had a clue who those kids were if something would have happened. You know, that's just horrible. I mean, you're thinking, oh my God. But yeah, we flew on that team's name. They didn't like giving them those. They didn't like the whole fact that we won, really. But it was a good experience.
And the parents didn't fly. We jumped in a car and drove. I think it was 26 hours, because the opening ceremonies would been on was it a Monday?
Like the next day.
And opening ceremonies in Kissimmee, so we drove straight through from Illinois to Florida.
Well, the way I remember it, we got on a bus and Peru, Illinois, had a nice send-off from the parents that housed our kids, who simply loved our kids. We had won the regional in Peru, Illinois, and they put us on the bus. They took us to O'Hare Airport, and now they're worried about losing someone in O'Hare Airport. And as I remember, they put this soft rope around us to keep us from getting lost, because they said, if we lose you, that's it. Now, whether that's just something that's in my memory that didn't happen, or it really did happen.
Sounds like it could have.
I think it did. And I'm thinking, you know, what happens if somebody needs to go to the bathroom? And then they get on the plane, and we're going to fly. And we're flying under somebody else's name, because they'd gotten those tickets in the other team's name. And Bo Wendy said, we couldn't get them in your name because we're from Illinois and they're from Illinois, and we would have never heard the end of it, but we wanted you to win. He said, so I knew you wouldn't care what names you were flying under. And I said, yeah. So we get on the plane, and I'm pretty sure some of them had never been on a plane before, and they're lifting the plane off of the runway, pulling on their seats. Very few of them had flown before. I don't know whether Corey had ever flown or not, but you know, those guys were like old hands. But for the guys that had never been on a big airplane like me, that was a new experience.
The significance of the Athens All-Stars World Series win back in 1987 is surely brought home by the series bracket chart shown here. This chart clearly shows that this was a true World Series, unlike Major League Baseball's annual event. The All-Stars competed against teams from around the world to bring the title home to Athens County. Competing teams in 1987 came from Canada, Taiwan, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Belgium, in addition to United States teams from Ohio, Florida, Hawaii, and Rhode Island.
And this is the guy that I think got it all started, because Larry took that first group of guys and turned them into an awfully good baseball team, and I think he really worked with them to make them understand how good they really were. And I didn't have anything to do with that first team. We worked together that second year, which was a lot of fun. But he got them all the way to the state tournament and then won it, and we trailed along with him all the way up to, was that Gary, Indiana?
No, we actually, yeah, Gary, that's right.
Yeah, and
kind of got our butts beat up there, but it was a good experience too for the kids to learn that couldn't win all the time, but they sure made it a great season for us. What really got us started was Shirley Slater with all the work she did, setting everything up for the league, and the hours and hours that she spent getting stuff ready, and the amount of work she did was just unbelievable. And had it not been for her, that Little League here in Athens wouldn't have ever been started. So Shirley deserves all the credit for most of the success of the team, without a doubt.
I didn't know any of that stuff that was going on because I wasn't involved with it. But Larry was involved with it, and Shirley was involved with it. I'm sure Tom had a lot to do with
Tom,
things.
and Stacy too, I think.
Stacy did too, and so we were able to take that team, you were able to take that team and take a group of people that might have got to go to a tournament at McConnellsville or someplace like that and got to play against a team out of Indianapolis, I think, which went on to the World Series. And those kids being able to do that, and being able to play, I think really made them be better players all along. And I really think Larry had a lot to do with that because it was a unique group all coming from different places, and somebody had to put it together.
In the second game of the World Series championship, it was winner take all, with neither team being able to afford a loss. This game went a bit different from the first, with the winning margin being 8 runs compared to a 1-run extra inning victory in the opening contest. The All-Stars took an early 6-0 lead with 1 run in the first inning and 5 in the second, coming from a few errors by the Tampa Bay squad. The Florida representative team responded with 2 runs in the bottom of the second, but the Athens Countyans came back with 4 runs in the 4th inning, making it 10-2. Despite Tampa Bay trying to rally back with a run in the 4th and the run in the 5th, the All-Stars were the last ones to score with 2 runs in the 7th inning, making the final score 12-4 and winning the World Series championship pennant. In the final game, Athens County was out-hit 11-9 by Tampa Bay, but took advantage of 6 Tampa Bay errors and some key hits, 2 coming from Jeff Holbert, Scott Stricklin, and Corey Corrigan, along with 1 from Mickey Baker and Nate Schaller. The Athens County team ended up being out-hit 18-12 on the day by the Tampa Bay team, but came out with 2 wins and the title of world champions. The All-Stars had now come back from the losers bracket twice in their tournament run, showing incredible resilience and leadership. When the All-Stars returned home, the team was welcomed back in fashion, with countless fans and supporters waiting to congratulate them for their amazing accomplishments in Florida.
Yeah, the kids were all excited about winning, and then you get to the point where, okay, let's go back to the rooms, let's have a party, but everybody was making plans to go home. And the kids, I think, were pretty disappointed that there wasn't this giant party. There was a little thing going on, but it wasn't like, oh my God, we just won the World Series. And then they got to Atlanta, and it was a layover of about 3 hours, and just that about killed us, because we were broke. I'd never been that broke in my life. And they finally gave us some money for pizza. We had that. The kids are still disappointed. We get off the airplane in Columbus, and there's Joe with his TV cameras and limousines, and all the parents have flown back, and oh my God, we did win the World Series.
plane coming in that's carrying the Athens County All-Stars. The Eastern plane is scheduled to bring home our Athens County All-Stars. Is coming in on the strip. Just about ready to touch down, as we can see there now, and then going right on by. Okay. Here we are, and the boys are unloading off of the plane right now. They're back in Ohio territory. Yo! Hi. Welcome back.
Hello.
Channel 5. What is your name?
Tyler Waddell.
Tyler Waddell. All right, Tyler, look right in here. We want to congratulate you. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, give us your name.
Steve Falk.
Steve Falk. Congratulations. Thank you. Give us your name, please.
Scott DeCaminata.
Okay, welcome back, Scott. You did a good job yesterday. Here, come here.
Here's our star pitcher.
Okay. Go ahead, give everybody your name.
Corey Corrigan.
Go ahead, Corey. Congratulations.
Nice.
Job well done. Hi. Congratulations.
Hi.
Give us your name.
Corey Miller.
Corey Miller. Congratulations. Fred over here. Come on, Fred. Give us a speech.
I don't know what to say. This was outstanding. The kids just played so well. I can't really hear right now. My ears are ringing.
I'm sure they are.
Quite an airplane flight, nice and smooth like that. Kids just played super the whole tournament, and better than that, they were excellent examples of our whole area. They just everywhere we went, everybody told us what great kids we had, and that's a tribute to I think our whole area.
Okay. Well, congratulations
Thank
again,
you very
Fred.
much, Joe.
Thank you. I think I even had you as a cameraman one time, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, we want to congratulate you. We're very proud of you. Job well done. Okay? Okay, and your name?
Mickey Baker.
Okay, Mickey. We're very, very proud of you. You've done a wonderful job. Okay? Give us your name.
Scott Stricklin.
Scott Stricklin. I really could kind of tell that. Listen, congratulations, Scott. You did a fine job, and we're all very, very proud of you. Okay? Thank you. Okay, and what is your name?
Jeff Grinstead.
Jeff, we're very proud of you.
Thanks.
We've been listening to you on the radio, and we're really proud. Okay?
Yep, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Do you know, if I didn't get you on, probably everybody in Gloucester would cancel the cable service. You realize that, don't you? Okay?
All right.
Huh?
Just happened.
It happened.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy. You've done a very fine job, and we're just proud of you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, we have with us
Chris Andrews.
Okay, Chris. You just really did a super job. The whole area is hyped up. The whole area is hyped up. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, I think so.
See your number one. See your number one.
Okay, Tom Metters. We know you've been involved with this team. We know how excited you are about and how what a backer you are of area sports.
Well, I enjoy it, and I think this is just great. You know, when kids come do something like this, I think they deserve the credit, and this is a great turnout. And I'm just happy to see so many people up here, and I know there's some more people waiting for them down home. And I really enjoy doing it, and I think the kids enjoy it. They really do a great job. When they do something like this, they deserve the credit.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Tom. Here we see Coach Gibson in the limo, and they're kind of passing us here now just a little bit. And we look back through farther, we can see the part of the caravan following us. Down here in front of us now, the roadside park below the Diamond Brickyard, and looks like a few cars waiting down there to join in the caravan. And this is a long caravan. Even before it gets to the roadside park here above Nelsonville, it's a long caravan. So a lot of well-wishers out. There we go. All kinds of people out here.
Roll your window down. Set the mic out the window.
Let these guys get hit. Okay. You can see the police escort heading out here now. There you can see in front of us there, folks, Athens County World Series champs. Quite a big thing. An awful lot of people out. This is going to be a big caravan, and it's just now started. It's not even hit Nelsonville yet, and we know the caravan's going to pick up momentum as it goes. The caravan is miles long now. You can't see that it's miles long, but believe me, it is miles long, because we're just seeing the short section that's coming around. And of course, in front of it, we have police departments, sheriff's departments, fire engines, got a little bit of everything. And so it really looks like that it looks like the kids are going to get a real welcome back. Yeah, down through here, we got the camera going. And it really looks like an overwhelming homecoming for the Athens County All-Stars. Okay, we see a large conglomerate of people standing here in front of the Cable's Hardware, here on the corner, in front of Cable's Hardware. So a real nice crowd turning out here. And then in the cable office here. Are you ready? Okay, here we are hitting the square area. People out all along the route, a lot of people out to welcome home these Athens County All-Stars, the Senior League champions. Okay, we can see here in front of the Elks, they got a big contingent out, and so it looks like really people are coming out of the woodwork to welcome home the Athens County All-Stars, welcome the boys home. And you can see a crowd of people waiting on them, and here comes a long, long caravan. A long caravan, led off by the Athens County Sheriff's Department, the Nelsonville City Police, looks like maybe the Gloucester Police Department, the Nelsonville Fire Truck. Here we come with a carload of balloons and everything. And then following this, I know it's Tom Meadows and Coach Fred Gibson, all being welcomed into Nelsonville here. And there we go, a nice crowd, a nice welcome to everyone. Here comes part of the caravan. See part of the caravan coming. There we go. And a beautiful crowd, a beautiful caravan. A lot of people in this caravan. We're now approaching 682 here toward the plains, and it looks like a very, very large. It's getting dark, folks. I don't know where you can see or not, but there's an awful lot of automobiles and human beings waiting here at this intersection, and as there has been all the way along the route. Signs, homemade signs, people waving. It's really a big thing. People off the side of the road, and VFW color guard up on the bridge. Fire engines out up there. They're welcoming back, folks. They're welcoming back the world's champion Athens County All-Stars. Just look at this. Look at the people. Look at the enthusiasm. Look at the people. Look at the enthusiasm out here. People out, people waving, people happy, and that's what it's all about. But up here at the courthouse, it does look like there is a large conglomerate of people waiting. I don't know whether the cameraman can get down to where he can see up on the courthouse steps or not, but it looks like a very large crowd gathering. And people on both sides of the street here at the courthouse, people filling the courthouse steps, and well-wishers here in downtown Athens, welcoming home the 1987 World Series champions. The Athens County team, champions returning. There's a big sign there in front of the courthouse. I don't know whether we can get a picture of it or not, but we're going to try to. Don't think we can get into the mall parking lot without turning through our own caravan to do it. And I guess possibly we are. Fred, what do you think? Do you think the people were pleased to see you back?
This was unbelievable. We, when we were down there after the ball game, winning the last game 12-4, some of the kids wondered, you know, does anybody really care? And the reception we got here tonight, it's just unbelievable. We came down through Nelsonville, the whole town had turned out. They're all right here. This is just super. I think our whole county has come together for this one thing, and I don't know whether, as Mr. Wallace told me, he said, I don't know whether it'll ever happen again, but it happened tonight, and I think it's your station that helped it happen, because without you putting these games on, they would have had to wait a couple days before they knew what happened, and this has just been super.
Okay, Fred. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, what do you think, boys?
A growl.
One, two, three.
What do you think, guys? You think everybody was glad to see you win and come home?
Yeah!
Anything? Did you expect this many people waiting on you?
No.
Okay. So I guess this is the icing on the cake for you, right?
Yeah.
Well, you did a terrific job, and everybody in the county is terrifically proud. I don't know where you guys were listening, but on the radio station we were coming down, we were hearing people from Coolville and different places coming in. So maybe they can't all be here. Maybe there's some confusion as to where this thing was going to be held. The fact we were supposed to have been on the other parking lot, and there are people up there, I think, waiting for you up at the other parking lot. But nevertheless, you're here, and everybody's very, very proud of you. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the federal hockey cheerleaders. Let's hear it for them, folks. Don't go to sleep on your hands. Here comes the fine Trimble Band. Gloucester Police Department is represented. What fire department is that? We have the Gloucester Fire Department there. Use that now. Here's the Alexander Marching Band. Let's hear it for them. Followed by some rookie league teams. Little league teams. Come on, your hands are getting cold. Let's hear it. All right, in the junior league teams. There's our Athens County Fair Queen, Rhema Booth. Let's hear it for Rhema.
Oh, yeah. Car in there from the American Legion.
Okay. And we have a car with representatives of the American Legion. And here comes a Slater van that's been all over the United States with these boys, leading the colors. Here come our coaches with Don Skurlock and Fred Gibson. All right, let's hear it for them. And here come the players now. First car, alphabetical order, I have them. Chris Andrews, Mickey Baker, next car. Oh, well. Then we have Dave Klein and Corey Corrigan. Another one? Okay. Scott DeCaminita and Jeff Grinstead. Where am I?
I think as long as you get down that list right there, buddy, you're doing a super job. Because they're in that order.
Okay. It's Brent Hartman and Steve Hawk coming up.
They're within that area.
Okay. Then we have Jeff Holbert and Corey Miller. Come on, folks. Let's hear it. Then coming up, we have Nathan Schaller and Kevin Skurlock. Followed by Scott Stricklin and Tyler Woodell. Warm those hands up. Here they come. We ought to get them lined up on the podium. Here comes the Athens High School Marching Band.
I'll go over and sit with Brent, okay, and then I can bring him over.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. All right, let's hear it. There are some folks here I would like to acknowledge. Some of them you will hear from in a little while. but we have with us the president of the league, Janine Skurlock. Let's hear it. We have with us also the founder of the league, Shirley Slater. Shirley. Jerry France, the OU baseball coach who really helped this group out. And Harold McElhaney, Director of Athletics at Ohio University. We also have with us this morning several mayors from the area. We have Mayor Richard Keith from Gloucester. Mayor Ralph Davis from Nelsonville. And Mayor Larry Payne from Albany. Along with our own host mayor, Ed Beckett of Athens. Representing the county commissioners this morning is Dean Kaler. And we're very happy to have with us today our state representative, Jolynn Boster. This time, I'd like to bring forward for a few words Janine Skurlock, president of the league. Janine.
Okay. On behalf of the Athens County Little League organization, it is my privilege to be able to thank everybody. I wish I could do it individually, but time is short. I just want to say special thanks to everybody that organized this event today, for everybody in the county that is a champion. The officers of our league that have worked themselves to a frazzle by this time of year, and anybody else who has volunteered to work in our organization, because we are strictly volunteers and we can always use more if anybody's interested. Okay, the last special thanks is to Shirley and Tom Slater, because they were the founders of this. They are the people that had the foresight to contact Williamsport, get ourselves chartered, and here we are today. And it's quite an accomplishment. We're all proud of what the team, the coach, the manager have done, and that's something that you can see on tapes and you've heard about on the radio, I'm sure. But I just personally want to tell you, as the league president, these boys have never given us a moment that we weren't proud of them. They conduct themselves extremely well in every situation, and they truly are champions.
Thank you very much, Janine. Thank you. Now I'm going to call forward the founder of the league, Shirley Slater. Shirley?
Thank you. I want to thank everybody also and just say it's been 4 years ago that we did start the Athens County League to offer a competitive baseball program. And many of these players you see up here today started with us. We started with 8 Little League organizations, and we have our boundaries as elementary schools in Athens County. We expanded to a senior league. We've had over 300 players, boys and girls, in our league, and many of them have stayed with us for 4 years. And our all-star teams have represented us very, very well. I think you're going to see Athens County t-shirts and pins around the world. Everybody knows where Athens County is now. And with the championship flag, which I wish, where are you, Janine? The championship flag brings our championship flags to number 22 from the Athens County All-Stars in 4 years' time. get the gold when you win a championship. And I do want to mention that our Little League All-Stars wear the green and gold uniforms in memory of Otis White, who has supported our league and contributed. And we started out with borrowed uniforms and a lot of help. And again, we just want to thank everybody, and not just the players, but our coaches. Everywhere we've been, we've just got everybody saying, you have great coaches, you have great players. They think we're raising them down here on the farm, but whatever. They're still world champions, and thanks to everybody again.
All right, thank you very much, Shirley. And the whole county owes you a debt of gratitude for your foresight. Now we'll call on our coach, Don Skurlock, for a word. Don?
Thanks, Don. Got to get it up here. First of all, let me thank everyone for coming out today. You know, we started quite some time ago with these young men, and Coach Gibson and I put in a lot of time and effort with these fellows, and you know, they kind of set the goal for all of us. When we first started, they decided that they wanted to go to the World Series and be the 1987 Senior League World Champions. I have some people that I would like to thank, and I know that I'm probably going to forget some. I'll apologize to you now and thank you at this time in case I do forget you. Let me thank the fans for the people that have followed us, and even before we got to the World Series, that some people traveled around to watch us play, and then the ones here at home that listened to the radio and watched the newspapers and watched it on TV. We want to thank you. Kind of a special thanks to the people that were the travelers. Now this is other than the parents, but the people that did traveled many, many miles, not only by automobiles but by airplane, just to come and watch us play. And those people were great. And I see one of them standing right here in front who happened to be our cheerleader. And I tell you, it really sounded great on the ball field when, you know, things maybe not be going so good, but you could hear the parents and all these fans, and they were cheering with Go Ohio Go, or Go Blue Go, or Everybody Hits, and it really pumped our guys up, and it really helped. And thanks a lot, Betty. We appreciate you. Would like to thank Joe Edwards for the radio coverage. Also for what he did with the cable TV, and also for our homecoming last Sunday. That was tremendous. I know the fellows loved it. Thanks to Tom Metters for the newspaper coverage. His part in the homecoming last year, and it certainly was a great limo ride home from Columbus. Special thanks to Mayor Ed Beckett, Kenny Kerr, Don Blosser, and all the other people that are responsible for this festivity today. This is tremendous. Thanks to the league officials. You know, I know they put in an awful lot of time, and I have firsthand knowledge of that. And I know how my phone just rang and rang and rang off the wall all during the season. And I know how much time that you people have put in. And believe me, for all the guys, we certainly appreciate your efforts. And I'm sure that you'd be more than willing to do that again. Of course, thanks to Tom and Shirley Slater. They made it all happen in the beginning, right? Now to our Coach Gibson. thanks giver for the knowledge of the game, the leadership ability that you showed to these young men, and the ability to communicate with them. Tremendous job, Coach. The next group of people that I would like to thank are kind of special to me, because I think without them, none of this is possible. For you, the parents of 14 fine young men. I know you are as proud of them as I am for what they've excuse me. Parents, I know that you are proud of these young men for what they have been able to accomplish on the field. You can be very proud of them for what they have accomplished off the field. You know, every place we go, all the foster parents, all the tournament directors, and all the people that are involved in all these different tournaments that we have gone to, they speak very highly of these young men. We're very proud of them. Now I want to thank 14 great young men who are the 1987 Senior League World Series champs. Thank you very much.
Let's hear it for Don. Did a tremendous job. Get this microphone back down to midget size here, folks. And next, we call on the second half of the dangerous duo. Manager Fred Gibson. Let's hear it for Fred. Fred? Not that short, are you?
I don't know what else there is to say. He covered everything. The turnout today and the turnout we had when we came back has just been phenomenal. Like I said, I think I've said everything in the paper about 20 times, and I don't want you to hear the same things that I feel again. But to be able to share this with everybody makes it a whole lot more important to us. When we were down there, you share it with the few people that are there because it's so long a trip that, it's not possible for everybody to get there. But when we came back and all the outpouring of emotion that you've given us and all the people have given us in the paper with the ads and things like that, this has made it all worthwhile. If you can't share something with somebody, I don't think it's very important. And we've been able to do that with you. I think we've given the county something that it can grow on. All it was really for us is win one more game against the best competition in the world. I don't want to downgrade that. I thought it was quite an achievement, but to be able to come back and give it to you, and we would like to be able to give it all to you, the feelings that we had, and the pleasure that we had, and all the enjoyment, that's what it's all about. And if I start talking here, I'll go on forever, and I'll break up like he did. This has been quite an emotional thing for us. when we came back and saw all the people that were patting us on the back, the head gets about this big. But the one thing I decided was, if you want to pat me on the back, I was glad to have it. You know, it's like fame, you know, it's not going to last very long. People are going to forget soon. Hopefully, because of the people that put this together, people are going to be able to remember this a lot longer than it would if we could just come back and everybody said, nice job. We've got some people in this community that are working very hard to make sure that doesn't happen. And the best thing that I can tell you is you've got a lot of young people that are working very hard to try to make this happen every year. We have some great young people in this league, and I think right now that every baseball player around will want to be with us, Nicker. And we're really looking forward to having as many people in our league as possible. We think it's an exciting place to be. And before I stop talking, I want to thank my wife first. I couldn't do all this stuff unless she let me. I'd like to thank Coach Skurlock for putting me up with me in his room. I think we got along okay. He's so big, you just do whatever he tells you to do. A man who I had it lucky. I was able to have a teaching job where that I was able to take the summer and go with this team. He had to give up a lot of work and a lot of money to be able to be with us, and I really appreciate that more than you can know. I would also like to thank the parents. Unbelievable group. They only gave me a little bit of grief. Hey, there's never going to be a time when you're just a perfect coach, I can tell you that. You get closer to it when you win the world championship, but I think that all in all, I think they had a great time, and I know I had a great time. He's already mentioned Joe Edwards and Tom Metters. I don't know what else to say about them. It just meant a lot for us to be able to come back, and we know there's tapes of the game. We know everybody was listening. We know there's got articles to read. You can just relive it. This group of young men that you're looking at here on both sides deserve everything that they got. They did not cause us any problems at all. At all. For 2 weeks they stayed in homes. 1 week, all there was teenage daughter in those homes. Scared me to death, but the parents loved them. They called us every night from Illinois wanting to know how we did. You don't find a group of adults who follow another team when they leave their home if they don't really love them. We had people standing in the rain at 7:45 in the morning crying because our kids were leaving. We were happy, we were smiling, they were crying. I think that says a lot. As we went around and we met other people from all over the world, everything they kept saying to us was how nice our group was, from the parents, the people, the fans, even the coaches were nice. And that's, that says something, I think, for the type of people that were selected for this team, but also just the type of people that we are in Athens County. I think these guys are tired of letting me talk, no doubt about that. One more time, I'd like for you to recognize the 1987 Senior League champions, and we have the plaque here, which says Senior League Baseball World Champions 1987. Thank you.
Sadly, 2 members of the 1987 Athens County All-Stars World Series Championship team are no longer with us. Corey Miller, who played third base, passed away in January of 2019, and outfielder Steve Hawk passed away in November of 2014. We dedicate this program to their memories and to their families. They both played important roles in making the 1987 Athens County All-Stars the Senior League World Series champions. It doesn't always happen for a team. In fact, it's a rare occasion when it does. But when it happens, when talent, determination, and yes, even a bit of luck come together, it's a thing of beauty and an almost unstoppable force. Such was the case with the 1987 Athens County Senior League All-Stars as they made their way through tournament after tournament, city after city, until that final day when they brought home the 1987 Senior League World Series Championship. Friendships and memories that will last forever during one magical summer. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Well, we had Jeff Grinstead who did Woody Woodpecker. We had played Hawaii, and it was a 19-2 victory on our side. And there, of all things, so the way it also worked, once you got there, every team had their own hotel that you got to stay in, and everybody had their own bus and everything, the big buses, and their bus had broken down. So not only after they got beat, then they had to ride back on our bus, so we're all the way back in the back, and here comes the Y kids, and I can't remember exactly how they were, but that bus was dead silent. There wasn't any talking going on, anything whatsoever. And then all of a sudden you hear, and I'm not even going to try to do it, but you hear to the T, Woody Woodpecker, and then one of the kids turned around and said, "Oh, Woody Woodpecker." And then from that point on, everybody's talking to each other, but I said, until that point, it was just like dead silent, nothing going on, serious.